Hi, my name is Zachary Will, and I just wanted to real quickly talk about why I believe in Jesus. And maybe you don't believe that Jesus was God, but you would at least have to believe that Jesus was a real person. Um, if he wasn't a real person, then it would have been super difficult for early Christians to convince people that like this person who was in their stories was walking around, had thousands of people following him around. What we see in the past is that there weren't many critics who were actually doubting that Jesus was a real person. It was more so doubting the things that Jesus said about himself. And also we have historians from that era who mention Jesus' name. And so we have good reason to believe that Jesus was a real person. So knowing that Jesus is a real person, just think about some of the things that Jesus has said. Even if the claims aren't real, Jesus thought that he was God. And even if that's false, nobody's ever thought that highly of themselves. Even Egyptian pharaohs just thought that they were one of the gods. But Jesus thought that he was the one and only God. And there's two things that I know about people who think really highly of themselves. And the first is that the more highly somebody thinks of themselves, usually the less credible they are. But we see the exact opposite in Jesus' life. We see people coming to him for advice, for help, and just seeking him out for his teachings. And they consider him super credible. And even today, we consider him a very high moral teacher. And so it's very interesting that somebody breaks that mold. The second thing that I've noticed about people who think super highly about themselves is that they tend to think less of others. But we see the exact opposite in Jesus. Nobody has ever in history thought so highly of themselves, but also nobody in history has ever treated others so kindly. And he went out of his way to touch people with skin diseases, that people would keep them outside the city and wouldn't even let them in the city. He called people who everybody hated and they're foreigners and complete enemies of the country. He called them like they were neighbors. He set this super high standard for morals, but he set an even higher standard for forgiveness. And whether you believe that he did it or not, when Jesus went to the cross, he believed that he was dying for us, and more specifically dying for you. And just imagine that, a man who thought so highly of himself that he thought that he was God, the creator of the universe, but he was willingly exchanging it for your life. And even if you believe all of his claims of being God as false, you should still be moved by that love, because that's incredible. And so this is just one of the reasons why I believe, and hopefully you continue to watch some of these episodes and check out our channel for more. Thanks.